It is a Sunday Fun Day special. While you're watching the football games, we're watching the weather. We've got rain, wind, snow, and fire. Ho, ho, ho. It's a party. I don't know what I'm saying, but let's just get into the special edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. All right, and it is the 7th of January, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer, back in the Weather Nerd Cave after 2 months visiting family, and we're getting back at it pretty quickly here with active weather forecast over the next 24 to 36 hours across the state of Texas. We've got blizzard warnings, we've got severe thunderstorm and spinny-spinny doom potential, we've got rain, and a whole lot of wind. Let's just start off with the most common hazard tomorrow. Wind is going to be the most common hazard across Texas over the next 24 to 36 hours as a very dynamic plain storm system intensifies and we end up dealing with a pressure gradient. That means more wind. In terms of forecast winds over the next day and a half across the state, this is off the European weather model, a pretty good representation of what we expect. The entire state is going to see winds of at least 35 to 40 miles an hour. These numbers shown on the screen, which you probably can't read anyway, are shown in knots, so that is a bit lower than the conversion to miles per hour. Nevertheless, the highest winds, occasionally over 50 miles an hour expected across the western two-thirds of Texas. Tomorrow into Tuesday morning, we could see winds approaching 70 miles an hour in the Panhandle, not associated with any snow, thunderstorms, not caused by any of that, simply just by the strength of this intensifying storm system. Coastal regions of Texas, we could see winds over 45 miles an hour. It is going to be quite windy, and that'll be ahead of any precipitation and behind it as Crashy the cold front comes sweeping on down the plains. So again, this will be the most common hazard in terms of what everyone's going to have to deal with, and that will be wind. Add in wind, the dry slot coming in on this storm system, we're actually going to be dealing with enhanced wildfire danger across portions of far west Texas, the Guadalupe-Davis Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, the Edwards Plateau, the Hill Country, south central Texas, down into the Rio Grande Plains tomorrow and Tuesday. So again, with those strong winds, drier air mass in association with the dry slot kicking in on the southwest corner or quadrant of the system, fire danger. Now, let's take a look at the high-res rapid refresh model. Excuse me, this is actually the North American model, my apologies, for tomorrow into Tuesday morning. Now, it's going to be a bit busy here, but we'll talk through it pretty quickly. First off, cold side, the potential for snowfall. Panhandle of Texas, maybe a few flakes as far south as West Texas. Overall, this element of the system has shifted farther north, leaving the Panhandle in minor snow accumulations with big-time winter storm in Kansas, Missouri. However, we're also going to be dealing with winds up to 70 miles an hour, even with minor snowfall accumulations, which we'll look at in a minute, the potential for blizzard conditions leading to treacherous travel conditions, near zero visibility and blowing snow, even though we may not be looking at a whole lot of snow, and this threat is highest across the northern Texas Panhandle north of Interstate 40. All right, in terms of the thunderstorms, well, we're going to have a thin line of storms by early morning, moving into North Texas, Texoma, into central Texas. Gusty winds with these storms as they move east. Can't rule out some localized winds close to 60 miles an hour, even though they'll likely be what we call elevated, meaning they should be above a more stable layer of cooler air near the surface, preventing a majority of those stronger winds being brought down by the heavier rains with those storms. The threat for some severe thunderstorms mid-morning Monday through early afternoon. We could see a conditional threat for a few supercells in the coastal plains, southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. If we're able to destabilize, we need surface temperatures close to 70 degrees Fahrenheit for a higher threat of severe storms. If that is able to materialize, the threat for all modes of severe weather, including spinny-spinny dooms, will occur. We'll talk more about that in detail in a minute. And then tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, a line of thunderstorms with damaging straight-line winds, potentially all the way from the Arklatex down into southeast Texas, before all of that moves east into Louisiana tomorrow evening, leaving just some showers, gusty winds tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. All right, let's talk about snow potential. Again, here's the latest forecast from the Weather Service in Amarillo. Again, the chance for accumulating snow is shifted north. This is for at least 2 inches of snow tomorrow. Highest chance, Oklahoma Panhandle, Boise City, east of Guyman on 412. You get a 40 to 70% chance from Texline, Dalhart, Stratford over to Groover, west of Perryton, west of Beaver, Oklahoma, and then a low to chance relatively from Channing, Borger, up to Follette, points north for 2 inches or more of snow. Again, the potential for 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts means whatever snow falls is going to be blowing around, and if we get enough of it, it's going to start piling up into snowdrifts, and well, regardless, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, travel's not going to be fun regardless. Add in near zero visibility and snow. No. It would not be a good idea to be traveling in that, especially if you were to have a vehicle mechanical issue and get stuck, since visibility outside of towns is probably going to be near zero at times. So that is why we have a blizzard warning in effect for places like Texline, Dalhart, Dumas, Stratford, over to Groover, up into the Oklahoma Panhandle tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Now, on the warm side of the system, severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, we have the potential for scattered severe thunderstorms mid-morning through tomorrow evening across the coastal plains, southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. And again, conditional on the possibility of more unstable air making it inland. If that occurs, and one way to tell that will be if surface temperatures are near or above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, the potential for supercellular thunderstorms to develop mid-morning through mid-afternoon. If that happens, and they are surface-based, and we have that more unstable air mass, especially into low levels, ingredients will be quite favorable for all modes of severe and that spinny doom risk is going to have to get bumped up to medium. However, at least half the model data is showing that widespread showers in the morning will tend to keep the more unstable air mass just on the coast or south of Interstate 10. But that's something we're going to have to watch for. So, if all goes well, we're going to have showers, storms, they're going to have plenty of mid-level rotation, maybe some hail, damaging winds, but the spinny doom threat will remain relatively limited. I did not say zero, but limited compared to if we get into the 70s and we have plenty of instability in a wind shear environment. The kinetics strongly favor spinny doom issues. Then we're going to have problems. So again, it's a conditional risk for problems and one we're going to be watching for. But more likely, as we get into the afternoon, evening, line of storms moves east with damaging winds, maybe a spinny doom, and some heavy rain, spotty hail. Notice we have a level 1 risk for isolated severe storms all the way back into central Texas, north Texas, east Texas. The potential for isolated wind gusts associated with that thin line of showers and storms tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, over 60 miles an hour. Winds cranking above the surface, 3,000 to 4,000 feet above surface, or the sea level, or ground, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. They're going to be over 80 to 90 to 100 miles an hour. It will not take much to get some heavier rains to bring those stronger winds down to the surface, which is why even outside of storms tomorrow, we're talking about wind gusts of 40, 50 miles an hour across most of the state into Tuesday morning. So that's what we're going to be dealing with there. In terms of forecast rainfall, all right, forecast rainfall totals tomorrow do not lead to a high threat of flooding. The fast-moving nature of this activity, combined with the fact that it's just not going to stick around that long, means even with some heavy rainfall, we're only looking at 1/2 to maybe 1 inch of rain, maybe 2 inches in far east Texas, the Golden Triangle, before all this activity moves out tomorrow evening. North Texas, the Arklatex, the Brazos Valley, East Texas, Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle. Best chance for those rainfall. Now, that being said, if we have 1 inch of rainfall within an hour and a half, we're going to have some ponding on roads, some street flooding, some quick rises on creeks and streams, but not a longer-term widespread flooding doom situation with this event. Notice we could see limited moisture in the Panhandle. That would be in association with whatever snow fell melt after the fact. But again, this is not a big-time flooding situation. Wind is going to be far more impactful in association with all the other hazards we described above. So, yeah, a wee bit busy tomorrow into Tuesday. We'll have a couple days of quiet weather before our next system arrives Friday. Could be doing all this over again. And then a stronger cold front of Arctic nature could arrive early next week, leading to much cooler conditions, especially across the northern half of Texas. Just how cold it's going to get is debatable. It does not look like a 2021 repeat, but it does look like it could be quite cold across the Panhandle into Texoma, and maybe West Texas into North Texas. Quite cold means, yeah, it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be 30 degrees below zero cold in terms of temperatures on the Red River. Remember, 2021 was likely what we call a generational event. We had snow and ice across the entire state combined with that Arctic air mass, and that's what really kicked in the cold temperatures, is that snow and ice cover. That does not look like something we're going to be dealing with next week across the entire state. Are we going to have chances for winter weather across maybe the northern half of Texas? Sure. But at this point, considering we can't even get a winter weather forecast within 2 days necessarily correct, we're going down the road of 7+ days. Needless to say, the streak of active weather looks to continue. It's probably going to get cold. It's January. It tends to happen. Not going to be writing a book about it at this point, but we'll keep you updated. So, as always, you can keep an eye on the sky with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, interactive weather radar, storm chasing video, Texas Weather Roundup videos, and more, all at your fingertips. And as always, you can visit us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. Have a good evening. God bless. We'll talk to you Monday morning.